everybody. Welcome. It's Wednesday night. It's my favorite night of the week. As everyone's starting to tune in here, I see the numbers climbing. First, if you're new, we want to say welcome. This is the best place you can be on a Wednesday night. I got my co-hosts here. I'll have them share in a second, but I'm sure they would agree with me. And just as we're getting started here tonight and everyone's logging in, I'd love if you guys could grab the chat I'd love to see where everyone's tuning in from. It's one of my favorite things as we start off the call, like seeing how we're in all different parts of the country. So we've got, see here, Kansas, Virginia, Florida, Arizona, Utah, Tigard, Oregon. That's where I grew up. California, San Diego, California, Chicago. Oh, I love it. We're tuning in from all over the country. So as everyone's logging in here, we will get started. So tonight's topic is, I love this call. This is our Habits of Health call. We do it every Wednesday, 5:30 Pacific Standard Time, 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. And each week we pick a topic of health where we can all come together and learn. And as you probably have seen on other calls, every topic's interconnected. You may have joined this just like I did, focusing on weight loss, but then you start to realize, like Dr. Ray's Habits of Health, which is why we have this call, they all are interconnected on all levels of optimal health. So we have lay people, we have health professionals, fitness professionals all over the place, and it's really cool to see. So my name is Brad Miller, and I'm the certified health coach sharing with you tonight. I'm accompanied by my co-host, Dawn Chow. Dawn, are you there?
I am, Brad. Hi. Hello, everyone tonight.
Yeah, so we're excited to be able to share tonight, and I actually love it because you get kind of the best of both worlds. Like, I'm a lay person here. I found this through my family that changed their health. They lost over 2,000 pounds combined as a family. So we used to be a large family, and now we are a healthy, large family. And so I'm just like a novice. I learned through this by coming to it. I needed to change my habits. And Dawn came to it through a friend, but she's actually has a background in the medical industry, which she'll share with you here in a second. But I wanted to start off with tonight's topic being about community and support, and just asking yourself, who is your supporting cast on here? And some of the things that we'll be doing tonight, we'll ask you some of those questions so you can start to think about this. And, you guys at first brush might be like, oh, I thought I was going to be learning something else. How does community and support play into this? It's actually huge. And I hope by the end of the night that you feel like, oh my gosh, either you have solidified in a higher level of understanding or an epiphany on how this all interconnects on this. But this is my story. You see in the top left-hand corner, I lost my weight. I was gaining weight as my family was losing weight. I came from a very unhealthy family, but as you see, you can kind of see as the years go by, I've only been able to maintain and increase my optimal health. And it's because of this program. And I'd say, honestly, a big facet of that is because of community and support. Actually, I know it is. It's one to have a plan, one of the components of our program, but it's the other to subscribe and start to integrate all the other factors. And community and support is kind of like a bubble padding around you that helps you go back and forth. Everyone will have things in your life that throw you for a loop, and it's how well you can integrate these pieces in that will help you, no matter if you're on your A game or if life's throwing you for a loop on that. Dawn's actually in the middle of something like that right now. She's going to share with you some real life examples of this. But you have my wife. She's part of my support. She's also a certified health coach with me. But also in the top right-hand corner, you can see we built support and community into our family. That's my little guy doing more push-ups than me at 9 months old. So what's cool, I mentioned that my family has lost over 2,000 pounds and radically changed their health. But going forward, I'm changing the support and community and the storyline of my family, which I think is really cool. So that's just a little bit about my story. And I'm excited to share through this tonight what support and community has done for me. But I want to go over to Dawn for a second, because Dawn, you have a great story on this. So share a little bit about how support and community and your supporting cast has played a vital role in your story.
Yeah, Brad. Well, thank you so much. And like you mentioned, I do have a background in healthcare. I've been a nurse for 13 years, but actually stumbled into this amazing community and to this support structure kind of by sheer luck, I guess you'd say. I'd been seeing how the health of not only myself had gone down in the first 5 or 6 years of me being a nurse, but also getting married and maybe shifting I married my husband who had different eating habits than me. So I quickly started to gain weight, and I wasn't realizing that my habits and how I was taking care of myself was actually impacting my day to day. So here I was as a nurse working full time, finding myself with, 30 years old with back that hurt, feet that hurt. And I looked around me and I saw that my family was really important. But I also had a father who was obese. I had a grandma who had diabetes. I had a mom who had high blood pressure and had suffered a stroke and passed away at just over 50. And so it became very clear that I was surrounding myself in unhealthy habits, and that if I didn't make some shifts, I was going to walk down that path that I had seen happen before. So, Brad, it's inspiring seeing your photos and then looking on this page, seeing how far my health has come in the last 7 years since literally stumbling in to this amazing community and to this program. It was a friend of mine that I saw who had changed her health, and I literally just wanted to start to take 45 pounds off. I actually reached over across the desk and stole some of her food. That's right. I tell that story a lot, but yes, I reached into her bag of pretzels and took one. And what I knew was that if it was working for her, I desperately needed it in my own life. And then what I found was the 45 pounds came off, but what stayed was habits. This amazing supportive community. Brad happens to be my personal health coach, and so has walked alongside me for the last 7 years. My father, who I was really terrified was going to leave us early, actually decided he wanted to get healthy with me once he'd seen what was possible. And so I got to walk alongside him, and we did it together. And that right there he's part of my supportive cast, Brad, someone who I got to learn with and get healthy with. And then, as you can see, my husband then got healthy. That's our little girl who's 5, and we're actually helping her have healthy habits right from the get-go, and getting to surround ourselves with other healthy, outdoorsy, active families. And we still love to have people over, but we are not the ones that provide all the, beer and alcohol and drinks and stuff. We have healthy parties now, so we still have our supportive community around us, but we serve healthy food and we center it around healthy activities. So, we're looking at part of my supportive cast, and thank you, Brad, because you're part of my supportive cast too, as is this weekly call and all of you that are tuning in.
Yeah, Dawn, I love your story for all those reasons. All the things you shared there. This is a great example of that. But one thing that makes me think about that, and not only the different facets that played a part in your journey, but like you started this through a friend that saw this, and we do know the medical field. We knew why you needed to do something about your plan and your health. Do you think, like, I remember you kind of stumbled into the support community. I remember like randomly getting to meet you and Brian. Like, knowing what you know now and knowing what you know about the medical industry, if you had just taken part in just the food that you had taken in, just the fuelings, like your path, what would have happened to you if you didn't grab a hold of that?
I would have absolutely gained my weight back, because I would have slid back into unhealthy habits because I was surrounded in those habits. And so what happens is if nothing changes, nothing changes, right? So I had done that yo-yo before. I'd lost weight and gained it, and lost it and gained it. Most of us have. But the thing that changed was I was able to lose the weight and actually grab hold of a structure and a community. That was the missing link that was never there before. If I had and I had a game plan, I was just going to eat the food and lose the weight and go on my merry way. But thankfully, that game plan didn't come to fruition, because if I hadn't been helping my dad or been active in our support group on Facebook, or actually surrounded myself with healthy people, I would have gone right back to those old habits. And it might have been slow, but I would have gained the weight back. And so now 7 years later, I'm keeping the weight off. I actually had a healthy pregnancy. That was one of my reasons, one of my whys for wanting to get healthy in the very beginning, was I didn't want to go into a pregnancy 45 pounds heavy. And I was able to have a healthy pregnancy and lose all the baby weight after. That's how strong this supportive community is, and how powerful the different nutrition programs are.
Yeah, I love it, Donna. You're such a great example of that. So I love your story for that reason, and just for the reason that we have predictable transformation. You guys have probably seen the different stories. But what's really cool about this is that they're ever evolving. So like, this is literally part of our support community. These are literally real life, recent stories of people that we are around all the time. And we'll get to some other stats later, but this changes your trajectory of your health. And sometimes you don't realize, because We don't always see the people that we're connected with, but you are surrounded by people that are doing amazing things with their health. Like, people don't do what we do on a regular basis, which I think is really cool. So as we get into tonight's topic, diving in a little bit more into community support, and more importantly, your supporting cast, which is one of the reasons why we're here. I think actually Eden typed in the chat, it's her birthday. Happy birthday, Eden. Congratulations for being on the call tonight. We're really glad you're here. But back to the topic tonight, asking yourself where do you want to be will actually help you figure out where and when and how you can start integrating more support. Because a lot of you guys are probably asking, like, great, yeah, like you got my ear. I want to know more about this, but how do I actually do this, and why is it important? And these are the things. And I love this thing, or this picture right here, because it really actually shows the 4 components of our program. And many of you guys are probably on here tonight, and maybe you're just getting started, and maybe you're just like me or Dawn when you decided to get started. You're like, you just saw the fuelings. You're like, great, I can eat those. Sounds like I can lose weight. You probably heard about it from a friend. But if you look at this, that's just one of our components. If you look here at the bottom of the screen, we have a health coach, someone that's going to guide you and support you along the way. They're on the track with you. You know, they're trying to reach their healthy lifestyle as well. You have the Habits of Health, which is these calls, the workbook, the Dr. Ray's Habits of Health, that all this information is based out of, the workbook, all of those things. We have community, which is this right here. Your health coach is a part of that. Online, in-person, national events, these support calls right here. You have that community of support. A lot of you guys are in Facebook support groups, which I highly recommend being a part of and interacting with. And then lastly, we have the fuelings. And if you look at this piece right here, this is literally, these are pillars. And you notice if you just lean on just the meals right there, the whole thing is going to topple over. And so hopefully that starts to give you a picture of how this all plays in. And I love that, to be reminded of all those components. So you can start to be like, well, it's easy to see the food. I get that. It comes to my house. I can see it. But how do I take part in these other areas so that my cornerstones don't fall apart and don't crumble, and that my capstone doesn't fall off? So as we kind of get going tonight, I love personal interaction. And I love that, like, we're talking about support community. We're on with over 400 of you guys here tonight. So I want to actually get some interaction going tonight and actually share personally from you guys by the end of the call some of the things that are working for you to get other people inside. That's also a benefit of the communities. Like, I remember, Dawn, last week we were on a call and you were talking about how you were focusing on sleep. And I was like, dang, I'm going to start focusing on sleep. We got another one on the way right now. Sleep is going to be hard in the next few months when Ashley brings in our second boy of the world. I want to start focusing on the habit of sleep. So I'm going to get to that by asking you guys a question. And just go ahead and open up your chat. And we're talking about the areas of support and community in your supporting cast. Off the top of your head, how many different areas can you think of where you can draw support and community from? And I'll just give you some examples, but just go ahead and type in the chat. We'll give you some time on this. But like, I'm talking about like your spouse and immediate family, or like your coworkers, to give you guys some hints. So Dawn, like, you know, as people are kind of typing in the chat right here, I'd love you guys to think off the top of your head how many actual different areas, like it might be 6, 7, 8, 20, I don't know. But Dawn, what do you think about this area? Like when you start to think about this question, because it kind of makes you think like, oh my gosh, how many different areas matter in my support?
Well, it makes me think of just a day in my life. Like, where do I reach out for support on any given day? My family, my spouse, all kinds of support. For me, it's at least 7 or 8 areas of my life where I, I seek support and have support.
I'm looking at the chat here. That's kind of what I'm doing as you're talking there. But I love the way you thought about it, like, on a daily basis. Where do I need it? I'm seeing answers all over the place. I saw someone have 15. I'm like, dang, that's more answers than I had. So I'd love to hear where that comes from. 4 to 6. Some people saying like maybe 2. And this is great, because if anything tonight, and every topic that we cover on these Wednesday calls, it's not about perfection. If you don't got it down pat yet, or you feel like, oh my gosh, this is an area that I can grow in, it's not about perfection. It's about progress. So I can tell you, like 8 years later, I'm moving forward in my health constantly, but it's never perfect. It's all about progress. So this might give you something to chew on this week, and explore in your health, and maybe even talk with your health coach about. So I saw answers from all over the board. We pulled up 9 different different main areas right off the top. But basically, you have your health coach, you have your community, and that's online or even local. I'll share some stats on that in a little bit. Social media, you better believe social media is huge. What you inundate your life with makes a mark on you. And so what you put out there and who you surround yourself with, even in social media context, makes a big difference. Your spouse, significant other, or children, your immediate family, extended family, friends, and you can even divide that up into extended acquaintances or close best friends that you do life with, coworkers. You better believe coworkers probably influence your setup and your support. Health coach community. Many of you guys have realized how easy this program is and have decided to pay it forward. You better believe health coaching is a huge part of that support in helping you move forward. Then we have these calls. You have Habits of Health call. You have client support. You have our client support calls, nutrition support. We have all these great facets that you can log into. And I'm loving, oh, I didn't even see this. Like I saw on the chat here, Fitbit helps. I forgot. There's like a whole community within Fitbit, like that cheers you on. Gym. I love that, Katie. Great idea. I didn't even mention gym and where you go to the gym and where you get healthy motion in. I'm looking at some of these other ideas here. See here, gym, Fitbit, 2 closest friends, family. I see some people giving some testimonies to the areas that we talked about. This is huge. So just to give you some ideas, some of you might be thinking right now, like, holy cow, I didn't realize how many areas were affecting my life. And you might even go through these areas and say, are they positively affecting me? Is it neutral, or are they dragging me down? And realize and ask yourself, the people that you influence yourself most with, are they dragging you down or encouraging you and lifting you up? Because, you know, we all are going to have bad days. Life comes, you know, we're adults, you know, like life happens. So on those days, how much of it is going to be on pilot for you and people that are going to be lifting you up? Are they going to be dragging you down? Or how much just naturally interacting with them are going to put you in a more negative state? So anyways, like, I think we hit that one right there, but just to get the brain going. Donna, you've been watching the chat too. I noticed you've been chatting there. Anything else that we should reference from in there?
I'm just loving it. I'm loving how a lot of people are echoing the helping others and paying it forward and really surrounding yourself with people right around you getting healthy. I was just typing in that helping my father helped me so much. Just learning. Who learns best, the teacher or the student, right? Like as you're learning with someone. I love the Fitbit community. That's so awesome. This is great. You guys are coming up with some awesome ideas we didn't even have on this slide.
Yeah, and that's why we talk about this. That's why tuning into this is one of the biggest things. I'm learning and being reminded of things that are like a big piece that's just from people commenting in the chat. And, you know, I did want to say, like you were saying, the health coach community. If any of you guys are on the line thinking about like, can I pay this forward? Yeah, you absolutely can. You'll know when the right time is. But I like to think back to one of the original people that hosted this call on Wednesday nights, and that's my Aunt Lisa. She's an amazing health story. And I remember she decided to do this just purely for accountability, to pay it forward to people. And because of that, a lot of my family got healthy, but also she's helped thousands of people. So you never know what one decision might do for yourself as far as an insurance policy on your health, but what also might ripple out and help other people. So plus I feel like I've grown more from helping others and paying it forward than I ever probably would have learned just by focusing on my health in itself, because the health just becomes second nature as you're helping others do the same. So that brings me to Carlene, my other co-host tonight. And Carlene, I thought you could come on. This topic was your idea. And I know you know more than anyone how important this is. You can see your before and after of you and Mike on the screen. You have, you know, now there's even an addition in the family as well. But you've lost over 100 pounds with this program. And I know it's not even the pounds that make the biggest difference, but you're someone that I would say is probably, you're an expert in the area of bringing support and community. And it wasn't easy for you. So I thought you could share a little bit about your story tonight and maybe how support and your supporting cast played a role in your success and how you went about doing that. So if anyone's on the line being like, I really want to do what Carlene did, they can start taking some of those action steps.
Absolutely. Well, Brad, thank you so much. And it's an honor to share this. So actually my journey with my weight actually started back in middle school. I was diagnosed with Crohn's disease and ulcerative colitis, and really struggled with that. The doctors couldn't figure out what was wrong for the longest time. And they put me on 60 pills a day. One was prednisone, and it just bloated me up. So unfortunately, throughout high school, missed prom, homecoming, because I was in the hospital all the time. I was the kid that got bullied. I didn't have many friends. I really had a hard time like finding my way because I was so ashamed of the way I looked. So, you know, fast forward, I met my husband at 18. We had kids early on. Our work was super stressful, so we did not put ourselves first. You know how it is when you're parents, you kind of just keep going, but they need their parents to be healthy, but we were not healthy. We were eating out a lot. About 3.5 years ago, I had a miscarriage at 5 months, and it was like my rock bottom. My whole life, I've tried like every diet known to man, and nothing worked. And so after that miscarriage, I saw a friend of mine on Facebook, and I'm like, what did you do? I need help. And it was not just that she got healthy, but she was keeping it off. And that really resonated to me. So I reached out, of course, and I lost 100 pounds in 6 months. And I got so healthy. I ran my first 5K. I was around this amazing support and community, but I had a miracle baby, Avery, and was able to do the Nursing Moms program and back at goal weight. The big key elements I feel that I've learned with this program, me not having many friends and stuff, when I first came into this program, I was not expecting the support in the community. I have made the type of friends you're always looking for in your life. That's here. Like, you guys like lift me up. I am a better person. I believe in myself. I remember someone saying, believe in others until they can believe in themselves. And that is so, so big, because I feel like because of this community and this support, I didn't believe in myself. As I was doing program, I started seeing the success and feeling better, the energy and stuff. But, when someone's there cheering you on, and you've got these people who are like-minded, they're positive, they're happy, they're feeling good. So you're thriving off of each other. And this is how we do this together. You learn together, you lift each other up. So your circle is huge in life. I've learned that. If you're around negative people, if you're around people who aren't healthy, that's the path you go through. But by me paying it forward, I'm helping other people too. And I've become a health coach, and we really have this amazing community here in Virginia, and we're all helping each other out. We've become like a family. And these are people I trust. We're happy. We're doing like great 5Ks together. We're doing things with our family, like doing bike rides or walks and trails. So this is what it's all about. I never would have thought that who you're with and being around like-minded people is going to impact you in such a way. But the community and support of this is what's truly kept this off for 3 years. And now I'm impacting others and believing in others like somebody had believed in me.
Carlene, I love your story. I think everyone loves it too. Just by watching the chat, they're just blowing up, which is, again, I can't tell what I love more about this, like the topic of conversation or all the ideas and inspiration and encouragement in the chat. Your story is so powerful. And I mean, not everyone needs to lose 100 pounds. We all have our own individual journeys, but what I see it doesn't matter where you start, it's the destination. And you chose Ultra Health as your destination. Absolutely. What are some of the key pieces that you implemented? Like, that was like, wait, if someone's sitting here and be like, I want that click that Carlene's having. What are some of the things that you did that you might have not expected that took place during your journey that really made a difference for you?
Definitely a mind shift. Kind of you showing Dr. A's Habits of Health. I really tapped into the community, like the support calls like this, really planning with my health coach, or mindset is huge. I tell my clients, and I remember my coach telling me, don't say, I think I can, or, how we word things, how we wake up in the morning, how we set that mental shift. That is the biggest key component. I never knew what I had inside, until I started telling myself, you can do this, you got this. Your mind is by far one of the biggest components of your health, how you are as a person, how you wake up in the morning, who you impact. It is big. So the mental shift had to be there. When you can get that mental shift and not give up, that was a big component. Also just wanting to learn how, you never stop learning. I'm always going to be on my journey because I don't want to stop learning. I want to, even though I've kept this off for 3 years, what can I do as my next step? Like, the more and more you learn, the more and more you push yourself, you become a stronger person. You never give up because you're just like, oh my gosh, I've checked this off. Let's go to the next thing. So it drives you because you never give up and you keep on pushing yourself further.
I love that. It's so perfect. And, I'll kind of fast forward to some things that we were going to cover at the end here before we kind of take our last poll and kind of wrap up the call. But, I see some of the things in the chat here, and some people are saying, yes, I got great support, and some people are saying no. And I just, if I can be so bold to just have some real talk with you, is, sometimes you got to look in the mirror and find out, like, this is what helped me do that for myself personally. Dr. A, you probably heard him say over and over again, be the architect of your own life. It's your life. You get to design it to the best of your ability and what you want to create. Start figuring out what you need to do to put yourself in an area of support. Like I was actually talking with a client today whose husband is not being very supportive. That's their choice to let their not supportive spouse affect them. Not saying they need to detach from their spouse. I'm saying that it's their decision on how that affects them and where they draw their positive energy from and what they can communicate, what they need. Another great example I was hoping you were going to share on, and maybe sometimes I don't even realize the things that we've done. You incorporated Mike into your support factor. He didn't just jump in and say, I'm going to be supportive of you. You asked him for support. You asked your health coach. You dove in and purposely went into the Facebook groups and dove into those calls. You're on these calls here tonight, and that drives your enthusiasm and your drive, and it lifts up your spirits to be around people that want that. I think it's a huge piece in your success, and it's just so apparent in how it shows up in your story.
Absolutely. And I definitely, I wanted it so much for myself. I wanted my kids to look back and say, wow, look at what mom did, because I want to be here for my kids. So I think a lot of us moms and parents think that we need to put ourselves on the back burner because it is all about the kids, but your kids need you to be healthy so you can be the parents that they need you to be. If we're not healthy, we can't be those parents, not just health-wise, but also mental-wise, because how we're feeling, when we look at ourselves in the mirror and we wake up in the morning, that impacts everyone around us. So when we're healthy and happy, it affects everybody in such a positive way. But yes, I was ready to do it, even if my husband wasn't. So you got to be willing to be at that point where you're like, nothing's going to get in your way. You deserve this. You deserve health. You deserve to be healthy. And don't tell yourself you can't, because you can.
I just want to end the call right now, Carlene. That was amazing. So thank you for that. I do want to end with just some more other food for thought as we kind of wrap up here tonight. And I thought this was great because this is in the Habits of Health. This is in chapter 10. According to a long-term study by the New England Journal of Medicine, who has the largest impact in the probability of you or any person in the United States becoming overweight or obese? Is it your family genetics? Is it your siblings? Is it your close proximity neighbors? Or is it your closest friends, whether it be through social media or in the actual vicinity? So I just want to see what people have to say. Again, I'll say those again. Neighbors, close people that you live with, family history, your siblings, or the people you interact with and surround yourself with. Don, I'm loving the answers here. What are you seeing?
I am seeing lots of people are talking about their close friends, family. Someone said myself. That's awesome. That's that mindset.
Yeah, out of those things, I'll actually share the answer right here. Very interesting study. It doesn't matter. Many people will say oh, it's my genetics. Oh, or it's this. I mean, yes, those play a role. But by an astounding amount, it's the people you interact with on a daily basis that impact your probability of becoming overweight or obese, or just in general. Basically, they go on to specify and to generalize just anything in your life. Whatever you're around more often affects you. So, be thinking about that. And what are you doing to involve all the areas and all the places you spend your time? Another way that I've liked doing this is, where do you spend most of your time in your life? And is it uplifting you? Is it neutral, or does it drag you down? And this goes back into healthy mind as well. So that's something this program did for me. It helped me realize that a lot of the people in my life were not at the caliber of Don or Carlene. I want to hang out with Dons and Carlenes of the world and people that are here in the chat. So wow, as we kind of wrap up tonight, this is some great topics that help you realize oh my gosh, this is going to play a role in my long-term effect here. And as we kind of wrap up here, is one of my favorite sayings is from Jim Rohn, which is, you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Or in another way I've heard it is, show me your friends, show me your 5 closest friends, and I'll show you your future. So that's not just in weight loss. That's not just in this. It's in every area of your life, abundance, happiness. Dawn, I'm very happy to say that you and Brian are some of my closest friends, and we have a lot of fun times together. It's amazing. So as we wrap up today, we think we're coming close, like 30 minutes on the dot. Hopefully we've given you some things that you can start off with. But if you're looking just for a few tangible things you can do, I thought Dawn and I could leave you with a few things here. Is evaluate where you draw support from, and where is the level of support they're giving you. Have you started going into your Facebook support groups on a regular basis, and not just going in, but interacting? Are you enveloping this, like, the support from the people around you? Do the people around you know what you are doing? And Dawn, one of your favorite things is, like, do they think you're doing a diet, or do they know that you're trying to improve your health and take it to the next level? Putting that big D word on your forehead there. I know you've said that before. Dawn, what are some things that we could leave people with tonight to be like, try that this week and see if it makes a difference?
I love that, Brad. And I love that you said, where you put your mind and where you put your time is where you're going to see things grow, and you're going to see the fruit from that. So some places where you can put your time this week are set a reminder in your phone to go, if you need to go into, if you're part of a client support group, go in there, check it out. Even if it's just for a few seconds a day, check out the healthy recipes, check out the things people are celebrating. Remember to text or reach out to your coach, celebrate with them. What's one area that you've really won this last week? And so spending time there, I'm here caring for my grandpa after surgery. And one of the things that I learned is being prepared. So always having something with me. If I hadn't done that, man, this week would have turned out so different. But just learning to think ahead, plan ahead, be prepared. Because that's that. I saw a lot of people say they relied on themselves for support. That's something we can do, because no one's going to probably prepare for us. But reach out into your client support groups. Connect with your coach, listen to a recording of a call like this. When I'm driving, sometimes I will download these on podcast style and just put it in my ear. But instead of listening to music, listen to a call like this. We've got them recorded from weeks back. Brad, anything in addition that you can think of?
I love Chris just shared in the chat. If you can only think of one or two places of support that's supporting you, go out and lift up and change the people around you. I think, as I'm just paraphrasing, because so many comments have come in. Be that person that lifts up the people around you. I love that. And Dawn, you hit on something else there. Your support community also involves like what you listen to. I noticed that sometimes when I click on Netflix and I'm putting myself into that, it affects my mood and what I do. So like sometimes when my mind's not right, when I'm not on my A game, I ask, where am I drawing? Like, where am I putting my mind, whether it's around people or the things that I'm having inundate my life? That's also part of your supporting cast. So as we wrap up here tonight, I just want to thank all of you for being part of our supporting cast, for jumping on here tonight. Thank you for everyone that shared everything in the chat. Thank you for all of your thanks as well. And as we wrap up here tonight, like another piece of this story, and taking bold steps, we have an Ignite. You can share your Ignite Optavia Ignite story. So 3 minutes or less, TSFL Optavia is giving away 10 all-expensive paid trip to our National Health Convention in July in Dallas, Texas at the Gaylord Texan. You can meet Dr. Ray. You can hang out with all the people. Speaking of healthy community, that's why I never miss going to an event. So if you're on here, you're just checking it out, share your story. You can follow this link right here, and you can submit your story. It gives you very clear guidelines. And you can win a prize, which will take you to National Convention with us. They have a great health track with great topics. We'd love to see you there. I'd love to personally get to meet you if you're on this call tonight, and come and join and look at checking that out. So talk with your health coach more about learning how to do this. I highly recommend doing it, even just for the practice of sharing your story to realize how far you've come. So with that being said tonight, guys, have a great week. Thanks for joining us on the healthiest day of the week. And I want to thank Dawn and Carlene for just sharing so much great things tonight.